Welcome to the deep dive.
Oh,
Okay, May 2025. What a month. AI just seems to be moving at warp speed.
it really does.
And if you're trying to keep up, but maybe don't have hours to scroll through everything, well, you're definitely in the right place.
Exactly. We've sort of, done the sifting for you, looked at the big announcements, the papers, the initial takes,
Yeah.
to pull out the 5 developments from May that, well, really seem to matter most.
Think of it as your shortcut to getting the key insights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's on the list? First, there's this new language model from Mistral. They're talking top-tier performance, but maybe not the top-tier price.
Right, that's a hook.
Then, HeyGen's new AI avatars, apparently getting scarily lifelike.
Oh, yeah, those are something else.
Google's also made a big splash with an updated Gemini model. Seems like they're flexing their muscles there.
Definitely.
And this is interesting. OpenAI reportedly making a huge acquisition in the AI coding world.
That one's got a lot of people talking.
And finally, Nvidia. They've open-sourced a speech recognition AI, super accurate apparently, and incredibly fast. So, yeah, quite the month.
It really is. And what's striking is just the range, isn't it? You've got foundational models, these really innovative, creative tools, stuff for developers.
Sort of everything.
Exactly. So our mission here really is to pull out the core insights from each of these, why they're important, and what the impact might actually be for you trying to understand where AI is headed.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, Mistral Medium 3. Mistral AI, they've been kind of a rising star, haven't they?
They have.
And this new model, they're calling it mid-sized, launched in May. Sounds like it's making some serious waves. What's the main takeaway?
I think the central point, the really big deal with Mistral Medium 3, is the performance you get for the cost.
Okay.
So the reports are saying it hits about 90% of the benchmark scores of Anthropic's Claude 3.7, which is, a top model, but it costs roughly 1/8 as much.
1/8.
Yeah. We're talking estimated prices like 0.40 cents per million input tokens, $2 per million for output. That's potentially a huge shift, right? Makes advanced AI much more accessible, especially for businesses.
90% of the performance for like a fraction of the price. That sounds game-changing. But it's not just about being cheaper, is it? What else makes it stand out?
No, absolutely not. It's highly capable too. It's multimodal, so it can handle text and images. Think about like advanced document analysis, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's apparently got real strengths in coding and math reasoning, which are obviously huge for enterprise use.
Right.
Here's the kicker. Even though they call it medium, it's reportedly outperforming some larger models from competitors like Meta's Llama 4 and Cohere's command models on accuracy benchmarks.
That's quite a claim for a mid-size model. So how do people actually get their hands on it? Is it widely available?
Yeah, it's pretty accessible. You can get it via their API. Naturally, It's on Mistral's own platform, AWS SageMaker. And they've got plans to roll it out on IBM, watsonx, Azure, Google Vertex, even Nvidia platforms.
So broad cloud support.
Right. But what's really interesting for enterprises, I think, is the self-hosting option.
Oh.
Yeah, companies can actually deploy it on their own hardware. We're talking pretty modest setups, like 4 GPUs on-prem. That's a massive plus for anyone worried about data security or regulations.
Right, keeping sensitive data in-house. That makes sense. Okay, so lower costs, high performance, multimodal, self-hosting. What are the bigger implications here? Why should this really grab our attention?
Well, I think the potential for wider enterprise adoption is huge.
Right.
Lower cost, near top-tier power. That could really open the floodgates for more businesses using advanced AI. And it definitely puts pressure on the big players, OpenAI, Anthropic. They might have to rethink their pricing, their efficiency.
Competition heats up.
Exactly. Mistral's directly comparing itself to Claude 3.7, Llama 4. That's a bold move. And that self-hosting capability. It directly answers that need for control, for integrating AI tightly into business workflows, not just keeping data safe.
Interesting. Now, Mistral started out very focused on open source, didn't they? Their first big model was open. Is Medium 3 the same?
That's a key point.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. Their earlier 7B model was fully open source, yeah. Medium 3, though, is accessed through their paid services. It's closed.
Okay.
And that shift has definitely sparked some debate, about the balance between open innovation and the sort of commercial pressures of building these really complex models. Yeah. Is this the path most companies will eventually take?
Yeah, that's a fascinating question. Okay, let's pivot now. Something completely different, more visual. HeyGen's Avatar IV.
Yeah.
This sounds like it's really pushing the envelope on AI avatars.
It really is. Avatar Faith. It's the latest step from HeyGen. And the results are, well, pretty stunning. It can create these lifelike talking videos using just a single photo. One photo. Fast, like in seconds, no studio needed.
Just a photo and some audio. That sounds almost too easy. What's the tech behind making them look so real?
So the big leap is this audio to expression engine they've developed. It's not just basic lip sync anymore.
Right.
It actually analyzes the voice, the tone, rhythm, emotion, and uses that to drive really natural facial movements. Head tilts, eye movements, those tiny micro expressions, even hand gestures on the full body ones.
Wow.
The output is these short clips, and people are saying they feel genuinely real, not just rendered. The key thing here is how incredibly easy it makes creating lifelike video, which, opens up amazing creative avenues, but also makes deepfakes potentially much easier too.
So it animates the whole persona based on the voice's emotion, not just the mouth. That's a huge jump. What kind of clips are we talking about? And how easy is it to actually use?
Right now there's short clips, about 30 seconds for paid users, maybe 10 seconds for free users. And it's built right into HeyGen's online platform. So it's designed to be super quick and simple. Upload a photo, give a text or audio, click a few buttons, and boom, talk an avatar video.
Simple as that.
Pretty much. There are limitations, of course. You can't edit these specific Avatar 5e videos further in their main studio yet, and there are usage limits, at least for now.
Understood. So thinking about those limitations, human expression is so complex. Are there still telltale signs that it's AI, or is it getting harder to spot?
That's a great question. For longer, more complex emotional stuff, you might still pick up on some artificiality. But the tech is improving so fast, the gap is closing.
Okay, so fast, easy, surprisingly real. What are the big implications then? Why is this tech something we need to watch?
Well, first off, it sets a new bar for realism. Some people think it's even better than ByteDance's Omnihuman, which was already impressive. This level of quality could genuinely revolutionize content creation. Think about marketing teams localizing videos instantly, or teachers making personalized lessons without filming themselves.
Yeah, the potential's huge.
It lowers the barrier massively for small businesses, creators,
Yeah.
anyone who wants to use polished video. But of course, there's the flip side.
The deepfake concern.
Exactly. The ease of making anyone appear to say anything, it just intensifies the need for things like media verification, AI watermarking. It's a serious issue.
It really is. But on the positive side, it could be incredibly useful. Okay, let's shift gears again. A tech giant making moves. Google and their Gemini 2.5 Pro I/O edition. What's the headline news here?
Right, so Google announced this just before their big I/O conference in May. Gemini 2.5 Pro I/O edition. It's basically a seriously beefed up version of their existing 2.5 Pro model.
Beefed up how?
Well, Google's making some bold claims. They're saying this version now tops multiple AI benchmarks, especially in really key areas like coding and reasoning.
Coding and reasoning, that definitely targets where AI is making a real impact already. What specifically makes it stand out for developers?
The coding ability seems to be a major focus. Demis Hassabis at DeepMind called it the best coding model we've ever built.
High praise.
Apparently, it's ranked #1 on leaderboards like Codeium Arena and WebDev Arena. What that means practically is it can generate working website code, even complex web apps, just from natural language prompts.
Wow.
And it's better at transforming code, like refactoring, plus debugging and editing with more accuracy. The aim seems to be making AI a truly reliable coding partner.
So, not just suggesting snippets, but helping build and fix whole applications. That could really speed things up for developers. What else is new?
Beyond coding, it's also very strong multimodally. It apparently hit state-of-the-art on a video understanding benchmark, so it can analyze and reason about video content.
Interesting.
And then there's a context window. It's huge. Currently up to 200,000 tokens for like pieces of words,
Wow.
and they're planning to push that to 1 million tokens.
1 million? That's massive. You could feed it entire code bases or long documents.
Exactly. It opens up possibilities for analyzing really large amounts of information at once.
So how are they making this power accessible? Where can developers use it?
It's deeply woven into Google's ecosystem. Available via the Gemini API, Google Cloud's Vertex AI, interestingly,
Right.
at the same price as the previous version.
Oh, that's good.
And it's powering their Gemini chat app.
Yeah.
They've even integrated it into third-party tools like JetBrains IDEs, so developers can use it right where they code.
Okay, so Google's really pushing to be the leader, especially for developers. What are the key takeaways for us watching this?
Well, first, it really shows Google's commitment to being at the absolute cutting edge, maybe even leapfrogging OpenAI's GPT-4 in areas like coding benchmarks. Second, For developers, it means potentially much better tools, faster prototyping, more reliable code suggestions. That could be huge.
Right.
And the multimodality, the huge context window, those could unlock totally new applications.
Yeah.
But it's also worth noting their strategy. Integrate it tightly into their ecosystem. It's less open than some other models.
Yeah, that's the Google way, often.
And the timing, right before expected rival launches. It definitely signals how intense the competition is right now. It'll be really interesting to see how it performs in the real world compared to things like GitHub Copilot.
Absolutely. It feels like a constant battle for that top spot. Speaking of competition, there's been a huge development in AI coding, with OpenAI reportedly buying Windsurf, used to be Codeium. That sounds like a massive deal.
It is a very significant move. The reported price is around $3 billion.
$3 billion.
Yep. If confirmed, it'd be OpenAI's biggest acquisition ever. Windsurf, or Codeium as most people knew it, is an AI coding assistant. Offers IDE plugins, code completion, natural language search, a chat assistant. Very much like GitHub Copilot.
Okay.
But it was independent and, crucially, had a free tier that was really popular with individual developers.
So, a direct competitor to Copilot, essentially. Why would OpenAI spend so much to buy them? What's the strategy?
Several reasons, likely. First, it's a major boost for ChatGPT's own coding abilities. Codeium focused heavily on that deep IDE integration, that smooth developer experience.
Right, which ChatGPT maybe lacks a bit.
Exactly. This gives OpenAI that tech instantly, plus a user base already comfortable with AI in their workflow. It's also probably defensive. Google, Anthropic, others, they're all pushing hard on coding tools. This helps OpenAI show up its position.
Makes sense. It sounds like OpenAI wants to own more of that developer relationship directly, not just be the model provider underneath.
That seems right.
So what could this mean for developers, and maybe for the wider AI landscape?
For developers, you might see a much more integrated, possibly more powerful coding assistant from OpenAI. Maybe faster progress on things like automated pull requests, more autonomous AI agents doing coding tasks.
Interesting.
But it does raise questions about competition, doesn't it? Codeium was a key free alternative. Now it's under the OpenAI umbrella. Fewer independent choices.
Yeah, consolidation is often a concern.
And then there's the really fascinating angle with Microsoft.
Yes, OpenAI's biggest partner. GitHub Copilot is Microsoft's product.
Exactly. Copilot and Codeium were direct competitors.
Yeah.
So OpenAI buying Codeium does that signal tension. Or maybe OpenAI wanting more independence in the developer market. It has a really interesting layer to that relationship.
It definitely does. The dynamics are constantly shifting. Okay, let's switch gears completely. Nvidia, we know them for GPUs, but they've just released a top-tier transcription AI, and it's open source. Tell me about that.
Yeah, this is quite something. Nvidia released Parakeet TDT V2. It's an automatic speech recognition model, ASR, only 600 million parameters, which is relatively small these days.
Okay.
But despite the size, it's apparently topping the Hugging Face Open ASR leaderboard. Word error rate of around 6% across many languages. That's knocking on the door of proprietary models from OpenAI, 11 Labs, folks like that.
Wow, and you're state-of-the-art from an open source model that small. That's impressive.
But I also heard it's fast.
Oh, incredibly fast. That's maybe the most remarkable part. On a decent GPU, it can transcribe about an hour of audio in roughly 1 second.
1 second for an hour. Yeah. If you batch process it, it's something like 3,300 times faster than real time.
That's insane speed. How?
Architectural optimizations. They're using something called a fast conformer encoder and a transducer decoder. Basically, techniques optimized specifically for NVIDIA's hardware. Really clever engineering.
Okay, so that speed could totally change things for applications needing speech to text. And the open source aspect is huge too, right?
Massive. They released it under a CC BY 4.0 license. That's very permissive. Free use, even commercially.
Nice.
It supports over 25 languages, gives you punctuation, capitalization, even word-level timestamps. It basically democratizes high-quality transcription. Startups, researchers, they don't have to rely on expensive APIs anymore.
That could really spark a lot of innovation in voice tech.
Absolutely.
So it's top performing, super fast, open source, multilingual. What's NVIDIA's angle here? Are they just being generous?
Well, it's definitely a huge benefit to the community, but it's also, pretty strategic for NVIDIA.
What's up?
By providing this amazing open source model, they're almost certainly trying to drive demand for their GPUs. If you want that incredible speed from Parakeet, you want to run it on NVIDIA hardware, right?
Makes sense. Seed the ecosystem.
Exactly. Cultivate an ecosystem where their hardware is the go-to for speech AI. Plus, it puts pressure on competitors in the transcription market, maybe pushes them to innovate more, maybe even open source some things themselves.
It's a smart play, using open source to boost the core hardware business. Okay, shifting again, let's talk creative tools. Figma. Huge platform for designers. They announced a bunch of new AI features.
They did, yeah, at their Config 2025 conference. And it was a pretty ambitious set of announcements, clearly aiming to blend design, development, and even content creation all within Figma.
Wow.
4 big things stood out.
Okay, lay them out for us. What's Figma adding with AI?
Right, first, Figma Sites. It's an AI-assisted website builder inside Figma. You can go from design mock-up to a live, published HTML, CSS site, complete with interactions, even a simple CMS, all generated.
Whoa, design a live site, that's a big step.
It is. Second, Figma Make. This is a prompt-to-prototype tool. Describe an app or interface, and it generates a multi-screen interactive prototype. It even spits out code for interactive bits.
Prompt to prototype. Cool. What else?
Then there's Figma Buzz. That's an AI tool for generating variations of branded content marketing assets, social posts, that kind of thing at scale, using templates and data.
Okay, automating content variation.
And finally, Figma Draw. New advanced vector drawing and illustration tools right inside Figma. Not strictly generative AI, but part of the overall expansion.
Wow, that's a lot. Figma sites, Make, Buzz, Draw. It sounds like they want to be way more than just a UI design tool. What's the big picture here? Why are these features so important?
I think the big goal is to streamline that whole design to production pipeline. Maybe even cut out the developer handoff for some projects entirely, speed up product cycles dramatically.
Consolidation.
Exactly. They seem to be aiming to be the one-stop shop. Design, web building, prototyping, graphic creation, all in one place. And they're positioning AI as this creative assistant, right? Helping with the blank canvas problem, automating the grunt work, letting designers focus on strategy. It could also lower the barrier for others on the team to contribute to design, making it more collaborative.
It sounds like a really bold strategy, trying to pull all that into one platform. How do you think designers themselves and the wider community will react?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Some designers will probably love the efficiency, the power to quickly prototype and even deploy.
Sure.
Others might be wary, worried about AI suggesting designs leading to, like, homogenization, or questioning the quality of AI-generated code.
Yeah, trust is a big factor.
And how does the designer's role change if they're suddenly doing more developer tasks? Plus, the competition. How will other tools in the no-code, low-code space react to Figma moving onto their turf so aggressively?
Definitely lots to think about there. Okay, final deep dive for today, video generation. Lightricks, we know them from photo and video editing apps on mobile. They've unveiled open source AI video tools. Is this going to make video creation as easy as AI image creation?
That seems to be the ambition. Lightricks unveiled LTX Video, or LTXV 13B. It's a 13 billion parameter text-to-video model, and yeah, it's open source.
Okay, text to video. What's special about this one?
The big headline is speed. They've developed this technique called multi-scale rendering, and it makes it fast, like up to 30 times faster than previous models.
30 times.
Yeah. Generating a 4-second clip might take under a minute, where older models could take 20 minutes or more on similar hardware.
That's a massive difference in workflow. What's the trick with this multi-scale rendering?
Basically, it renders the video progressively. Starts rough, low res, then adds detail and layers. The key benefit, besides speed, is it drastically cuts down memory use.
Ah, so it can run on less powerful hardware.
Exactly. It means the model can actually run on standard high-end consumer GPUs, like an Nvidia RTX 4090.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need those super expensive server racks. That's huge for accessibility.
Definitely. So, faster, runs on more accessible hardware. What kind of videos does it make? And what are the implications of it being open source?
It generates clips at a pretty decent resolution, around 1216 by 704, 30 frames per second. And it supports different modes: text to video, image plus text to animate stills, keyframe guided stuff, even video to video transformations.
Lots of flexibility.
Yeah. And the open source release, Apache 2.0 license, that's major. Plus, Lightricks is offering free commercial use for smaller developers under $10 million revenue.
Oh, interesting model.
Right. That could really fuel experimentation, innovation, potentially democratize video effects, let smaller creators do things that were previously out of reach.
It sounds a bit like what Stable Diffusion did for images, but for video. What are the potential upsides and, well, downsides of making AI video generation this much easier?
The upsides are huge for creativity. Right, indie filmmakers, marketers, creating unique ads without huge budgets. The speed enables really rapid iteration.
Mm-hmm.
But easier access also means we have to seriously consider, misuse, ethical concerns. The comparison between Lightricks' open approach and the more closed-off strategies of big tech in video generation is also really interesting. It raises big questions about where this field is headed.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay, it feels like we've covered a ton of ground today. Some really significant AI leaps just from May.
We really have. May 2025 definitely showcased just how fast things are moving. And in so many different directions, more efficient models, incredibly realistic avatars, powerful tools for developers, now more accessible video gen. The pace is just relentless.
So wrapping up, what are the key takeaways for listeners trying to keep all this straight?
I think the main things are AI is getting more powerful, yes, but also more efficient, more accessible, and more deeply embedded in everything we do digitally, coding, creating content, communicating.
Right.
And the competition is fierce at every level. Foundational models, tools, applications, that's driving this rapid innovation and opening up new possibilities all the time.
And looking at all this rapid progress, what new possibilities do you see opening up? And maybe more importantly, what big questions should we all be asking ourselves about where this is taking us?
That's really the crucial question for everyone, isn't it? These breakthroughs are incredibly exciting technologically, but they also bring up really significant practical challenges, societal questions, things we absolutely need to grapple with as this tech keeps evolving so quickly. Staying informed, thinking critically. It's never been more important.
Couldn't agree more. The world of AI keeps spinning faster, and we'll be here trying to make sense of it. Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.